Hi everybody, Nate here from WASD20. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a compass rose. Alright, so when starting a compass rose, you absolutely can freehand it, but I usually recommend starting with a shape something like this. You put some axes in place, you've got your 90s, you've got your 45s, and you've got a bunch of circles. And these are just really helpful when you're aligning your different pieces, making sure that they look relatively uniform. You don't have to get this exact. Some people just start with a couple circles or start with the axes, but this is really helpful for me. In the first part of the video, I'm actually using pencil, and it's just really hard to see what I'm drawing unless you really have it full screened in HD. So I drew this out so you can see exactly what I was doing so that you can do something like this for your own map. Let's talk about some of the tools you might want when drawing a compass rose. I would say the main things that I always have are a way to draw straight lines and a way to draw circles. And there are a couple variety of options, I guess. But this circle template is really handy. They're pretty cheap. And yeah, when I want a bigger circle than this, I generally will use a compass. This is a really nice compass I found at my parents' house when I was digging through my old stuff from a mechanical drawing class I took in high school. So you can have some way to draw straight lines. That really helps too, whether that's a ruler or a straight edge like this, or even a protractor. A protractor is really optional, but if you want to get precise 90 and 45 degree lines, this is really helpful. And then of course you'll want a pencil, probably with an eraser, and pens. I use my Pigma Micron pens when I'm inking stuff. And I'll put an Amazon affiliate link to these products down in the video description below, so check that out. So my first step is to draw two lines that are perpendicular to one another. These are vertical and horizontal lines. I just use my straight edge, although you can use a protractor if you really want to get exact with your angles. Next, you can see I'm using my circle template to draw some circles that are using the intersection of these lines as their center. The lines really help me line up my circles. You can see the little black marks on the edge of my circle template. I just line those up with my perpendicular lines and I'm good to go. Now my circle template only goes so big, so I do use my compass rose here to get a couple other just points, just marking them on the line really to get the outer extremities for my compass rose points. Now I'm actually starting to draw the kind of triangular points of my compass rose, the main ones, out of one of my smaller circles in the middle. Somehow I didn't have my camera on for the actual drawing of the sword, so you can see the pommel of the sword, just a very basic outline of the sword for now. And then I use my protractor here to find some 45 degree angles to draw these diagonal lines. It's pretty hard to see what I'm doing here in the pencil, so I'm going to go ahead and describe more of it when I'm actually doing the ink. And if you'd rather just skip ahead to that now, I'll put a timestamp on the screen and you can know how far you have to skip ahead. So here I'm going to be starting the ink work very soon, and you'll see me starting from the inside out. I do my horizontal axes, or these points, the east-west, and then I would normally do my vertical ones too, but I've already got that sword, so I actually start my 45s after that, which don't turn out exactly symmetrical, but that's okay. They're pretty good. I've had better, I've had worse. And here I'm starting to ink the sword. I've got kind of a standard looking sword. I like drawing swords. They're fun. I draw a lot of swords when I'm doodling. This one has like a pointy pommel, kind of, which is not wise. That's probably dangerous and bad. But anyway, there it is. So compass roses are always a combination of circles and pointy things, pretty much, for the most part. And so, I could have left it without this outer circle, but I think it just adds to it a lot. I really like the look of it. It's the same kind of compass rose I did on the Aeronaut map in terms of this outer ring. And my client actually told me he really liked the Aeronaut map compass rose, but liked the idea of adding a sword too. At this point, I'm actually lettering the little sections of my circle because I'm going to be coloring them black and leaving them white. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't ending on 2 blacks or 2 whites in a row. So that's something I've done before, actually. And this time I just lettered them A and B to make sure. Now here's where I start shading in part of the map. I did some horizontal, or rather diagonal, hatching on each of these sections. Now this is not shading like you would imagine where the light source is. I was just doing every other, which is kind of a classic way to do a compass rose. Then you can see that I also go ahead and darken in solid black, some in the background here. So I have a mix of solid black, white, and kind of lighter shading. At this point I was looking for a little extra flourish, a little extra detail, so I decided I was going to do kind of a ribbon or some kind of piece of cloth tied around the pommel of the sword. I am not extremely skilled in the ways of drawing natural looking cloth and fabric, but I did okay, I think. I really debated about whether I should add shading to the blade of the sword, but in the end I decided to do it. It kind of helps it blend really well with the rest of the map that already has that look, although I probably will, when I scan it in for Photoshop to put it on my map, add a little more of a reflective effect and get rid of some of that shading. And now, of course, erasing it to pretty it up and get rid of all the pencil lines. So there you have it, the compass rose is done. It turned out pretty good. I would say one of my better ones, one of the ones that I was a little more careful and put more care into actually, like measuring things, stuff like that. A lot of times I get impatient, and it's easy to run into some trouble when you get impatient with things like this and get a little sloppy. But I will be scanning this in with Photoshop and putting it onto an existing map that I'm working on, a commission. So make sure you're following me on Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff, and you'll probably see some pictures of that map when it is finished very soon. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I probably will do more videos on compass roses because I'd like to do a video just showing how to more generally draw a wide variety of different types of compass roses. This one I just sat down to do this specific one and decided to turn the camera on. So I hope you got something out of it. If you did enjoy this one, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in learning how you can support the channel, check out my Patreon page. I've got it written right on the paper right there. Want to thank you very much for watching, and make sure you're subscribed for more mapping tutorials as well as RPG goodness. And yeah, everybody take care. You will see me again very soon.